I don't know when the last time I updated you, but today is Saturday, April 30th, the last day of April, therefore the last day of the magical readathon. I finished reading A Whisper of Shadows and Flame by L. Penelope, Book 2 in the Earthsinger Chronicles. I like that one better than the first book. And that made me remember vaguely someone, I don't remember who, saying that the series gets better as it goes on. Like, book one was not bad, but I was feeling more towards the meh side with that one, and that's why it took me so long to pick up the novella, book 1.5. But this, I think, had a little. It was more action oriented. I also listened to the audiobook, but in this one we got more of how things work in Lagramar. So the timeline is roughly the same. Maybe it starts a little bit before what happens in the first book. So Earthsinger Chronicles, book one. I don't remember the name of book one. I'll put it on the screen, but we're following two characters, fantasy romance. There's Jack, who is an Elsyrian spy who got caught in Lagramar, and two soldiers are. They figured out that he was a spy, and they're supposed to be bringing him back to the king or whatever he's called. I forgot. He has a special name. Because he was caught. And then there's I think it's Jacinda. Please forgive me if I have the wrong name. She is an Elsyrian. Well, she's half Elsyrian, half Lagramarian, and the major difference, other than like race, basically, Elsyrians are pale and redheaded, and Lagramarians are dark and curly and black people, basically. Um, Elsyrians don't have magic, and Lagomarians do. There is a mantle, this magic wall, basically, between the two countries, and they're at war with each other. But yeah, her being half and half, she lives on the outskirts of the country, of a small town on the outskirts. No one treats her with any kind of respect, and now she's living alone in this shack. And in a snowstorm, Jack and the soldier stumble across Jacinda's uh, house and decide to stay there, not realizing they've crossed through the mantle, which should not be possible. And yeah, the story continues from there. Like I was saying, the timeline for this book two, uh, I think they start a little bit before book one does, and we have a whole new set of characters, a whole new look at the magic system, and how it's not just one kind of magic. So now we have three, which, if I'm understanding correctly, are related. There are also a whole new uh two possibly races of people. Well, there's one new race, not even a race, like another type of being, and then another race of people who are kind of working underneath and in between everything. So I've reckoned the next book will take things to the next level. This is also on the romance side, not a happily ever after. In book one, we kind of basically had happily ever after. This is not the case. And I really enjoyed our main characters. I really liked learning more about the world, and I definitely am feeling more interested in continuing now. So I will. I haven't rated it yet. I haven't put any of these books through compile, so um so I've read a total of 12 books. I started the second volume of Miss Marvel in hopes to finish it in time for the live show, but I didn't. So, but I can finish that definitely tonight. I'm about halfway through The Splendid and the Vile. I got the audiobook back and have been listening to it more, but like none. Only 2 hours yesterday and none so far today. It's already 8, I think. Let me check. It's 8:40. And I have to log all of these books because I've logged none of them for the Magical Readathon. Whispers of Shadow and Flame will be for Demonology because it has to have the word shadow in the title, and that's the only book I have that fits that. I don't know what Miss Marvel Volume 2 will go for, and yeah, so I have to sit down and input all of my books. I was going for 14 and I might make it to 13. I don't know. I probably won't hit all the props, but I will have hit most of them, and then the career deciding, my calling deciding can happen in August or between now and August. So that's all that matters. It was a good reading month though. I will check back with you about what books for what prompts next clip. So there, we've come to the end of this, I guess, weekly reading vlog. This is in week 4, the end of the Magical Readathon. I'm going to wrap up all of the books I read this month and what prompts they fit for each of the 3 readathons I participated in, because remember, there's the Dark Romance Readathon and Tome Topple. So let's go. I'm going in order of the prompt list for the Magical Readathon, so alright. First up, there is The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Alchemy, or class, I should say, of Alchemy, in that a potion of infatuation. So read a book reading featuring romance. This is a historical romance novel. Next, I read A Breath of Dust and Dawn by L. Penelope. This I read for the Animal Studies prompt, which Ways of Pegasus, read a quick read. This is a novella, book 1.5 in L. Penelope's Ursinger Chronicles. And I read The Adventures of the Norwood Builder. This is a short story by Arthur Conan Doyle, a Sherlock Holmes short story. And that I read for the Art of Illusion prompt, mirror image, read a book with a trope that you like. And I just solving a mystery, I guess, is the trope. I don't know how to put it. Like, Sherlock Holmes is a trope in and of it himself, and I also, in this particular story, because it's not in every one, I like him kind of one-upping Inspector Lestrade, because he just feels like it. It's kind of making the man look like an idiot, I guess. I don't know what trope that is, but you tell me below. I do enjoy those. Next, I read Shuri comic book number 8, and I read this for the Magical Readathon astronomy prompt, basics, asteroids, and comics. Read a book at the top of your TBR list. And yes, I own all of the Shuri comics. I kind of took a break because 6 and 7 were by different authors than the others and different artists, and I just really didn't like them. But I do want to finish these, so there's only 10. That's why it's at the top of my TBR. Alright. Next I read Full Moon by Jim Butcher. This is a book 2 in his Dresden Files series, a reread actually, and I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Conjuration, Conjuring of Light. Read a book with a source of light on the cover. There is a full moon in the background and on this cover, as well as, I forget the name of this building, but it's a famous building in Chicago, and there's the rooftop is like a pyramid and it's all lit up on the cover. So, alright. Next, I've read Whispers of Shadow and Flame by L. Penelope, book 2 in her Earthsinger Chronicles series. This is a full-length novel. I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Demonology, Shadow Demons. Read a book with the word shadow in the title. There you go. I also read this for Tome Topple. This book, how many pages did it wind up being? Tome Topple, basically at bare minimum, you have to read a book that's 500 plus pages. This one, not quite, but there is a version out there that's over 500 pages. This is 496. I counted it anyway, guys. Alright, next, I read Miss Marvel Volume 1, No Normal. Sorry, I couldn't finish that. But I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Elemental Studies. Read a book, Basics of Air Dynamics, a book under 100 pages. This is a comic book volume, like a bound volume. That counts for that. I read an ebook version. I also picked this because I'm participating all year in the realm of comics read along, and the April picks was to read the first 3 volumes of Miss Marvel. Next, I read The Angel of Khan El Khalili by P. Jelly Clark. This is point 6 in his Dead Jinn universe, another short story. And I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Spells and Incantations, an anti-gravity spell, read a short story or essay. Continuing in that series and enjoying the hell out of it. Next, I read another Miss Marvel comic book, Volume 2, Generation Y, again by G. Willow Wilson, and I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Artificery, Schematic Literacy, Earth Setting. Next up, I started this. I didn't quite finish it. I had a couple of hours left, but this is the prompt I read it for, and I did talk about this book. So, The Splendid and the Vile, a saga of Churchill, family, and defiance during the Blitz by Eric Larson. This would have also counted for Tome Topple, but that's neither here nor there. I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt, Inscription, Glyph, Strength, Intimidating, Read. This was not the original plan for this prompt, however, it wound up fitting best. This is a historical nonfiction that I enjoyed sometimes and didn't at others, and it was long, so definitely intimidating. I could have finished it, but if I had read it consistently or listened to it consistently, because I was listening to the audiobook, but I I got intimidated in the midst of reading it, not when I picked it up. So next, I read Drag Me Up by R.M. Virtues. This is book one in their God of Hungers series. And I've read this for the Magical Readathon prompt: lore, myth, most known, mythology inspired. This is very, very much based on Greek mythology. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling, sort of, a very modern version of Hades and Persephone. I don't know if it's a retelling exactly, but it is their getting together. So, But anyway, I really enjoyed this. I also wound up reading this as one of my books for the Dark Romance Readathon. No particular prompts. It's a dark romance, so let's go with it. Next up, I read Children of the Whales Volume 2 by Abby Mida, and this fit my Magical Readathon prompt for psionics and divination. Clairsentience, a book set in the future. This volume really kind of starts to give little dribbles of sand particles to the past, and I definitely got the feeling that something happened to humanity and the society that was before to kind of create what's looking like a dystopian future, which is the setting of the story. I cannot 100% confirm that, so as we go forward, we shall see. Next, I read Dark Mafia Prince by Anika Martin. For the Magical Readathon, I read this for Restoration, Cure Wounds, a book featuring healers. Again, not the planned book for this prompt. However, there are several shootouts and fights, and so people do wind up needing to be healed. There's literally someone they're kind of blackmailing to come in when they call and they need to be healed. So I also read this for the Dark Romance Readathon. This was actually the, I don't know, not exactly group pick, but the book that covered all the bingo board prompts. And yeah, while I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, and I read a mafia romance. Last but not least, I read Anne Bishop's Wild Country. This is probably my favorite book of the whole month. I read this for the Magical Readathon prompt: shape-shifting formation claws. Read a book with a creature that has claws on the cover. This has crows. And I also read this for Tome Topple. This book was 544 pages, I believe it was. Yes. So a tome, 500 plus pages, and yeah. So my goal for Magical Readathon was to read for all 14 prompts because I couldn't pick a calling, and I almost made it. I read 12. One of the books, I talked about The Splendid in the Vial. Obviously, I didn't finish that, and I did not realize at the time, but the Elemental Studies Miss Marvel comic volume is over 100 pages, which is killing me. Maybe if I shuffle things around, I don't know, something else could fit. So, because I do have 2 or 3 other things I read that were under 100 pages. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't have to really think about this until August when Orilium comes back around. The magical readathon this time was Orilium Spring Equinox. In August it will be Orilium Autumn Equinox, even though that's too early for Autumn Equinox. Anyway, that is my reading wrapped up for the month of August. Let me know if you participated in any of these readathons. How did you do? What calling did you go for? I've already watched the wrap-up video by G at Book Roast and the Order of the Crescent. My order did not win. That's okay. Did not talk about like points or anything like that because I haven't looked into that, but I have until August. Okay, so whatever. Let me know what your favorite book of the month of April was in the comments down below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the notification bell so you know when my next reading wrap up comes or any other videos I do here on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.